This is breaking news from News 3.
Well, we have breaking news right now. An explosion has rocked downtown Sun Prairie.
It happened around 7:20 tonight. The Sun Prairie police chief says this happened at the intersection of Main and Bristol Avenue.
We have team coverage. Amy Reed on the scene. Rose Schmidt at the high school in Sun Prairie, where officers just gave an updated press conference. Keely Arthur also speaking with witnesses tonight. Let's start with Amy Reed, who has been on the scene for a few hours now. Amy?
Yeah, we've actually gotten moved about a half-mile away. Last time I checked in with you guys, I was on Main Street and Flint Street, and now we've been moved to Jackson, where there's a Dairy Queen. Once again, that's a half-mile away, and from where I am, you can't really see the flames, but they don't want people getting any closer, just for a precaution. Earlier, I was down a little closer to it. You could see flames, you could see a lot of smoke, and a lot of people were hanging out, taking pictures. Homes there were getting evacuated. And I talked to one man who said that he didn't see the explosion, but he certainly felt it.
I was about to get into the bathtub. Right as I was about to step in there was this big boom, and it knocked me to the ground. And I felt it like it took the breath out of my body. This is crazy, it's scary, and I've never seen anything like this before. I've been through plenty of tornadoes, but nothing like this. Like, this is crazy. Like, there's some seriously hurt people down there.
Now, as of right now, we don't have the confirmation on injuries, but from what he saw, it looked pretty bad. That's where he's coming from. Once again, we are about a half-mile away at the Dairy Queen. There were quite a few people hanging out here with us, but it seems that they've all been able to find a place to stay tonight. A lot of people that were evacuated were a little lost. They didn't know where to go. We do have a lot of other people in the field right now. Rose Schmidt is also out here.
Yeah, that's right, Amy. We are actually here at Sun Prairie High School right now, where we are awaiting a press conference right now from the Sun Prairie Police Department from Lieutenant Kevin Kanopaki, and we are also expecting a spokesperson from We Energies to be on the scene here. And what we do know is that this all started around 6:20 when someone smelled gas, and officials were called to the scene, and then there was an explosion, but police could not confirm any civilian fatalities or injuries the last time we spoke to them, which was at 9 o'clock.
We have reports of multiple injuries. I can tell you one of our police officers was injured, and we also have two of our firefighters who were injured and were transported to the hospital. I do not have any further information regarding their condition, nor do I have any reports of any fatalities at this time. I can't confirm if there's any fatalities.
And it looks like we are actually about to hear a live look from the Sun Prairie Police Department, which is about to happen right this moment. Here is Lieutenant.
All right. Are we ready? All right. I've got some updates.
1 second while we just move the camera.
Can you give us a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know what you need.
Not with the press. Please stay back on one of the pages.
Let me know if you need my name again. We are also waiting for a representative from We Energies. Hopefully she shows up here momentarily so she can give you information as far as their efforts. Let me know when you guys are ready and we can start. Are we all good?
All good.
All right. All right. So I can report right now that all 12 gas mains have been shut down. It's a joint effort between our utilities department and our fire department and our public works department. They're in the process right now of doing some ventilation of sewer pipes. There's also some residual fire that our firefighters are working on right now. So we've also expanded the evacuation area to a half-mile, so we're no longer in a 5-block radius, we're now in a half-mile radius. However, some of the senior assisted centers that are close in the area, they're able to actually shelter in place because those gas mains have been shut down. And the ventilation process that they're doing right now is not in an area where the fire department feels it's unsafe for those folks in those senior assisted living centers. So they're able to shelter in place, so that's good news. We will be closing City Hall tomorrow until further notice. So right now what has to happen is the fire department has to secure that fire, that residual fire that's going on. Once they do that, they will then go in and they'll basically do a search and rescue, all right, to see if there's anybody else that's missing, that is hurt. I can report that we have a couple minor civilian injuries, nothing major, so that's very good news. I don't have any updates right now. I can tell you that the injury to the police officer was minor, and I don't have any updates for you right now for the 2 firefighters that are at the hospital. But I would ask that people out in the community make sure that you have them in your prayers, all right? We have the Salvation Army and Red Cross is at Patrick Marsh Middle School. For those folks that had to be evacuated, we got buses on the scene to help evacuate them there, so they're on scene to help with them. We also have Department of Justice Victim Witness unit is on site at Patrick Marsh and over here at the high school as well. We do have some elderly folks from the area that were evacuated up at the high school area. So we have those services there to help those folks in need who have been displaced from their home. And again, as soon as we can get the fire department get in there and get that ventilation, get the gas completely ventilated and get those fires out, we can start making a determination of when we can allow people back in their homes.
How many buildings were damaged? How many
people have been evacuated?
I cannot tell you. I don't have those numbers. I don't have those numbers. I'm sorry.
Can you tell me how many buildings have been damaged or destroyed?
Yep. So I can tell you for sure the bar house, like we talked about earlier, and Glass Nickel Pizza, the buildings right in that near vicinity obviously are damaged. I just don't have those specific names right now as to what's been damaged until we're able to get that fire secured, get it out so that they can, our firefighters can go and make that assessment.
So the gas leak happened at 6:20. It was then 40 minutes into the explosion.
Correct.
That helped with how many people were injured.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay,
and that's,
we can see some of the flames from the high school here.
Right.
And so can you tell us exactly what buildings are still on fire?
I cannot tell you exactly what buildings are still on fire right now. I just know that the firefighters are out there actively fighting them and getting them, hopefully getting them all put out soon. And that I can tell you, the gas leaks have been contained. So all the gas has been shut off. That's what's called, from what I understand, and I'm not a firefighter, so I'm learning some of the terminology here tonight, but that's residual fire from the ventilation process. And so they need to go there and just get them out.
So 2 firefighters were taken to the hospital as well as 1 police officer. Are there any more?
Our police officer was not taken to the hospital. He was actually treated on scene. But 2 firefighters were taken to the hospital.
2 civilians were taken to the hospital?
No civilians were taken to the hospital. We had a couple civilians with minor injuries. But as far as what I know, no civilians were taken to the hospital.
So you're still asking people not to start a car right now and not to cause any spark in this area?
What I'm asking people is just to stay away from that half-mile area. And they're going to see police officers. That's one thing I do want to mention as well. I just will tell you the response from area law enforcement and firefighters has been fantastic. And I'll tell you, the people of this community are fantastic as well. We've had a lot of people come out, and there's a reason why I love living in Sun Prairie. And the response from this community has been fantastic. And it's not coming up and saying, hey, what's going on? What can you tell me? It's people coming up and say, how can I help? And that's just phenomenal stuff. And, you know, the words of encouragement for our first responders, people come up and say, hey, we're wishing you guys the best, and anything that we can do, that's great stuff. And I would be remiss if I didn't relay that, and I apologize for getting a little emotional there, but this community is a great community to live in. Anyhow, so the question asked, I apologize. What was the question that was asked?
When the gas leak was reported at 6:20, the explosion happened, or what, sometime around 7?
So just shortly after 7 p.m. is when the explosion occurred.
Did authorities have enough time to evacuate people?
They were in the process of evacuating people at that time. I can tell you that there was some construction going on in the area. I can confirm that. All right, I don't have any more information other than that there was some construction going on at the time.
Seems incredible no one was killed in this.
Yes, and I can tell you right now what I can't do is I can't confirm that there's no deaths to civilians, right? We don't have any information at this time to say that there are any fatalities. But understand, this is still, as you just mentioned it yourself, there's still fire going on out there, right? So we need to get that fire out, which our firefighters are doing a fantastic job of doing. And once that's out, then they're going to go through and they're going to make sure that the answer to that question is no. And let's hope and pray that that's the case.
How many civilians were injured, and can you describe?
I don't have the numbers. I was told minor injuries.
Bruises, scrapes, cuts?
I don't know. I was just told minor injuries. I can tell you that there were minor injuries treated at our command post. all right, and they were not transported to the hospital.
Can you tell us about the evacuation centers? People are being brought here to the high school.
Yes, so we have the high school and Patrick Marsh Middle Schools where people were evacuated, and as I mentioned before, we have the Red Cross and we have the Salvation Army that have come out and are helping people out at both locations, and Dane County Victim Witness is out helping with that as well.
You said there was some construction going on in the area when they found this gas leak. I heard on scene that some people were digging. Can you confirm any of that?
I can't confirm that. Just know that there was construction in the area.
No one's been reported missing.
No one has been reported missing that we heard. That is correct. But again, what we're going to do, and what those firefighters are going to do, is once they get that out, they're going to go and we're going to make sure that nobody's missing. All right. So that's part of that search and rescue effort.
And you said we're waiting on someone.
I'm sorry?
Are you calling?
Well, it's just a general term, but basically what they need to do now is they need to go, right, and clear stuff away. They need to look to make sure that that there's nobody there. That's called the search and rescue. That doesn't mean that they think that there's people there. It's just that's the terminology that they use when they're going to look to see that everything is secure and if there's anybody, basically if anybody got hurt and is in the debris.
And you said
what caused the leak? Did somebody strike a gas line?
I do not, and I would hope that somebody from We Energies will be releasing that momentarily. I don't know. I don't have that information.
So we're waiting on someone from We Energies. What is their involvement in this situation?
So they, as far as what I understand, and again, I apologize if I get this information in air, but I know they work with our utilities department closely on that. So there'll be somebody from that company that they consult with our Sun Prairie utilities. They got the specialty as far as it works with gas, right? So they'll be making the decisions on what's best. First of all, to investigate what happened in conjunction with the fire department, but also to make sure all that gas is shut down properly.
And we still see a big plume in the air, even though it's dark. What is burning right now?
So again, that's part of the ventilation process, and there's still some residual fire. So all the gas has been shut down, but as you can imagine, with the explosion, there's flammable materials in those buildings, so you're going to have some residual fire, and that's what the fire department's fighting right now.
Do we have any sense of how many firefighters are on the scene?
I don't. I can just tell you from earlier, as I was coming in after this, if this happened, I saw Madison Fire Department responded, Wanakee, DeForest, and we also had officers respond from Wisconsin State Patrol, Wanakee, Madison, DeForest, so a lot of area agencies helping us out tonight.
And is there any concern for people downwind of this fire?
No, so from what I understand, with the ventilation process, there's no danger to the community outside that half-mile area, but that's why the decision was made to evacuate a half-mile area. So no, there's no danger with any with wind direction or anything like that. With that gas completely shut off, and now just that ventilation, from what I understand, that ventilation process is pretty localized, so there's no danger to the community. They stay outside that half-mile area.
So no toxins in that?
No, that is correct.
So, you guys, have you experienced this type of explosion situation before?
So this is the second explosion that, since I've been working at the police department, we had a house explode. Natural gas, if you guys may remember, that was probably 8 years ago. I've never had something like this to this level. But this level of a call out for emergency services and the response from the community. That's the first time in my career here.
Seems well organized. Seems you guys prepare for this stuff. So
We do, and we also train not only with our fire and our EMS folks, but all the local agencies do as well. You train for these things. You hope to God that you never have to do it, but here we are. But that's why you train for this stuff. And again, I can't say enough to the area police departments and the area fire departments and the area paramedics that came and helped us out tonight.
It went well?
It went very well. Fantastic. And the people in this community, just asking for help and whatever they could do, phenomenal response.
Can you share any information on the bar owner?
I can't share any information on that right now. Just because I don't know. I can tell you that it's not a criminal investigation, if that's what you're asking. This is a fire department investigation. All right? So we had construction in the area. We had a gas leak. We had an explosion. The fire department's in charge of the investigation. This is not a criminal investigation, so we are not leading the investigation.
Do you know why it took so long to turn off the gas?
I have no idea. That's why I wish somebody from We Energies would be here. But they'll be able to answer that question for you. I can tell you it's shut off, though, so that's a good thing, right? It's a pretty big gas leak, as you can tell. I mean, that's a pretty significant explosion that occurred tonight, so I would assume that has something to do with it. All right?
Thank you so much. We
All right,
appreciate
folks.
it.
You
Moving
bet.
forward, just
Thank
will
you,
there be a press
Thank you.
release or press conference tomorrow morning, or?
We can certainly set something up. I can't guarantee anything right now. I would like to do that for you because, again, once again, folks, the more information that comes out, we want to provide that for you. So,
Lieutenant Kevin Konopacki with the Sun Prairie Police Department giving us an update. Obviously, a very emotional night, as he pointed out himself at one point in there. 2 firefighters injured. The 1 police officer that he mentioned an hour or so ago, only minor injuries, was not hospitalized. But as he mentioned, thoughts and prayers he is sending out to those injured firefighters that were injured at the scene tonight. Again, that explosion just after 7 o'clock, and he thanked the first responders as well, who did a tremendous job after that initial gas line break was reported at about 6:20. Gave them enough time to clear the area. But again, still some work to be done there and clearing out some of those areas.
Our Keely Arthur, she is also in Sun Prairie tonight. Let's go to her live right now. Keely, what's going on where you are right now?
Well, Charlotte, we're about a mile, or a half mile rather, back from where this happened. We're at North and Windsor. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of activity going on. And if you go and look this way, you can see that plume of smoke is still going very sky high. To recap what the lieutenant said, there are minor injuries. There's an officer who's been injured, 2 firemen in the hospital. We don't know about any fatalities, but even in the last 5 minutes right here, we have seen multiple ambulances going back and forth. I have here behind me, if you look past the camera, you can see a group of about a dozen people who have been displaced because of this, waiting to get into their homes, kind of just sitting around wanting more information. Anyone who is displaced tonight, of course, can go to the Sun Prairie High School or to Patrick Marsh Middle School. And everyone here just kind of trying to figure out exactly what happened here tonight. I spoke to one woman earlier. Here's what she said she heard.
Well, I knew it was gas because I had been about a block away from where the explosion occurred about 10 minutes prior. I could smell the strong gas odor.
And you did hear earlier that lieutenant talking about the camaraderie, not only between the first responders, but just the civilians here tonight. So many of them just trying to help and kind of, as they were talking about evacuating, grabbing the things that they could get from their house. I had one woman who said that she had life-saving medication that she needed to get. She was so thankful that she could just have that in her hands tonight. People, again, trying to figure out what happened, but very safe past this perimeter. We're a half a mile out, and the gas line, thankfully, has been shut off. I'll send it back to you.
Now, we hope to hear shortly from We Energy as well with the very latest on the gas line situation. Keely Arthur, live just outside that half-mile perimeter in Sun Prairie tonight. Keely, thank you.
And stay with News 3 for the very latest on this breaking story. We will continue to break in tonight with any updated information, and stay with News 3 on channel3000.com for the very latest away from your TV.